Your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NBA Live segment for Friday, November 23rd. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week, I'll watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content. We got everything. We're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. And hey, man, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. A lot of people are probably out, Black Friday. I'm sorry, Black Friday shopping right now. Hey, man, this is your chance right now. We have all packages just for today only. Our Black Friday sale. Every membership on our site is 50% off right now. Yes, every membership. All of our season packages, all of our monthly packages, and make sure, hey, this is a great chance for you to join the money team at a very, very good price. It's only today. You can go to our website at checkout, use promo code BFD50, Black Friday 50. So it's BFD50 at checkout. Get 50% off any membership for the site. Definitely, like I said, man, stop missing out. Join the money team. And yeah, man. So how you doing out there, Jeremy?
Hey, I'm good, man. Happy late Thanksgiving to everybody. About to get into this slate. One quick thing that you didn't hit on, I'm just going to recap, is the luxury boxes are a true 50% off, but the monthlies are 50% off your first month. So when you renews, it will renew at full price. So it's a nice little way to intro into the site, get 50% off the first month, get that VIP package for half the price, getting you access to the whole site, plus the infamous cash game lineups for both sites Monday through Saturday for NBA and the NFL main slate on Sunday. Half price.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a great deal. Honestly, I mean, last night Jeremy sent me the promo code, and I was looking at the prices on our packages, and I'm like, bro, like we're just might as well just give these things away for free. They're so cheap. So I mean, it's a really good deal today only. So make sure to check out the package one more time. Promo code B as in boy, F as in frog, D as in David, 50. Use it at checkout, 50% off all of our packages. And yeah, so I mean, I'm ready to jump into this slate. We got 11 game slate. We're gonna take about an hour and knock it out. Hit us in the comment section below as well, and we can, we can do our regular kind of answer questions and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for checking this out for sure. I'm ready to get into this slate. I personally didn't play the early slate today. I was just kind of waiting for the late slate. I really don't care too much for 2-game slates. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm ready to get up in this. If you're ready to go, bro.
Yeah, let's roll.
Okay, so usually on our live segment, we just come on here and we just kind of answer questions for a couple minutes. We didn't get to do our video last night. Obviously, it was Thanksgiving. We're spending time with our families. So we're going to break down the slate on this live segment as well as answer questions at the same time. So hey, it should be fun, bro. It should definitely be fun. So let's just jump right into it. And the first game that we're going to start with is going to be Boston going into Atlanta to face the Hawks. This game has a 223.5 implied total, and Boston's by 8 is favored by 8 in this one. So like we regularly do, if you don't mind, just get us started with the visitor side of things. I'll take the home side of things, and yeah, man, let's go.
Let's get into it. So Kyrie Irving at 9,000. Kyrie's been playing at a very, very high level, man. He has been playing extremely good. This is a cherry matchup, in my opinion. Al Horford is out. Al Horford is out, already been ruled out.
Oh, he is out? Okay, I didn't see that he was already ruled. That's a cool thing about doing this video, 2 hours before lock, because we got a lot of news already for sure.
So I don't mind the 9,000 price tag because I expect him to get a usage bump in this one. But the guy that I really like, and let's just take a look at Kyrie really quick, 54.7, 51.5. Utah, we know Gordon Hayward had a really good game against Utah, but 66.9 against Toronto. So 3 of his last 4 games are 50-plus fantasy points. He needs 45 for cash value, 54 for tournament value. Definitely could do that tonight. Atlanta's playing people. I mean, at least Atlanta's playing, right? They're playing, and people are able to put up fantasy stats here. Marcus Morris is a guy I absolutely love. I think he'll be really chalky, coming off a pretty big performance the other night. We had him locked in, 37.6.
Hey, just really quick, I just wanted to know, bro, we had Marcus Morris the other night, bro. So
Right.
if we have him tonight, it isn't because we're trying to jump on with everybody else. We had him the other day, and he had a monster game for us.
Exactly. He had 37.6 fantasy points. We had him paired with Von Lay. I actually like the same pairing power forward again today. I think both guys are in a really good spot again. We'll get to Von Lay later on. But, Morris, 37.6. I like playing this guy, man. I always, in tournaments, when Botson's on the slate, I plug Marcus Morris in because he's a great upside tournament play. He has the ability to get you 37.6 all the time. He has the ability to get you 40. So with him, it's always minutes, foul trouble, and is he knocking down shots? Because that's the one thing that Marcus Morris will do is if he's cold from the field, then his fantasy points are just not going to be there. But in this spot with no Al Horford, it's a guy you definitely have to look at. Another guy you need to look at, too, is Aaron Baines. I think he's a really good pump play tonight at 3,600 without Horford. Other than that, Gordon Hayward with, not on a minutes limit anymore. So I think Gordon Hayward's a little bit better of a play, in my opinion, for the price than Jason Tatum. Collins is back for Atlanta, and his minutes are going to be back in the 30-minute range tonight. So I think that, those two might cancel each other out a little bit, Tatum and Collins. So I like Hayward, definitely like Morris. I think Baines is a great pump play. And then, of course, Kyrie's been playing at a high level. So that's Boston for me.
Just really quick question for you. Have you seen anything on Alex Len? Is he playing tonight? Is he not playing? Do you know?
The thing we still have him is questionable. Let's check. So no recent news on him yet. Let me check over here and let you know if I've got any other news. Let me see.
Yeah, the only reason I quickly just asked about Alex Len. If Alex Len is out, I definitely think that you could look at a guy like Dwayne Dedmon on the Atlanta side of things. Dedmon, we played him the other night as well, and he didn't have a bad night for us. The crazy thing about this guy is he was like 1 for 8 from the field, but he just filled the defensive stats and he hit value for us. So it was pretty cool. He played 31 minutes with no Alex Len. So if he's going to play close to 30 minutes, we've been talking about it all season. We like centers going against Boston. That's been our thing, and it's been working out for us. So if Alex Len is out and Dedmon's going to play close to 30 minutes in this game, I definitely think that you could look at Dedmon on the Atlanta side of things, as well as you mentioned it, John Collins. He was a guy that was regularly 7,000 last year, and he's just coming back. I understand he's had a couple, okay games, nothing special. Did already have a 30 fantasy point game in only 20 minutes. We know this guy is very active. He definitely fills up the stat sheet. I definitely think that this is a solid price at 5,100. I just wish that I knew he was going to get, 27, 28 minutes. But definitely like the play.
Who's that? Who's that, bro?
John Collins.
They did say he's going to get a minutes boost. He played. I believe he played 25 in his last game, right?
Yeah, he played. I think 26. It was.
So he's basically clear and good to go. He should see 30 minutes tonight.
Yeah. So if he's going to see 30 in this matchup against Boston, then I do really like John Collins. It's all about the minutes with him. I'm not looking at nobody else really on the Atlanta side of things. Definitely think you could throw Trae Young in a GPP. The guy has 50 fantasy point upside on a 7.3 price tag, but he's just inconsistent. You can see for yourself, and the minutes have kind of been all over the place for him as well. Honestly, on the Atlanta side of things, for me, I'm looking at Trae Young, strictly GPP. I think Collins you can look at for some cash games. And then at center, if Alex Len is out, then I would love Dedmon once again. And that's really where I'm at with this game.
Yeah, I like Trae Young as a tournament play, man. The other night I had him in I think 5% of my lineups. He got 17 assists and he was 0.8% owned. So
right.
On a big slate, I like Trae Young a lot as a tournament play. I think he's very fair price at 7,300 for the upside he brings.
Yeah, and then like I said, man, we know Kyrie isn't the best defender as well, so for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next game. This game I think is going to be a blowout. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers going into Philadelphia to face the 76ers. This game has a 217.5 implied total. Philadelphia is favored by 13.5 in this one. And so real quick, before you get into it, hey bro, tell me why I heard that I guess Fultz is requesting a trade now. And
the other night, remember we were talking about it, and I was saying that Fultz has already been ruled out through this week because he's going to get a second opinion on his shoulder.
Right.
That was all on the same deal. He wants out, doesn't want to be there. They brought Jimmy Butler in, blah, 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 blah. So
check this out, bro. I heard that Jimmy Butler Bro, Jimmy Butler's a savage, bro. I heard Jimmy Butler told Markelle Fultz to stop being a pussy, right? Bro, Jimmy Butler, bro, he keeps it real. And these young dudes, they just can't handle the truth, bro. Same thing with Towns and Wiggins. And if Jimmy Butler told Fultz that, bro, it's like, and Jimmy Butler's a savage, bro.
There's nothing wrong with telling the truth, bro. It's just these young Thundercats these days. Mama's pacified them their whole life, told them that everybody's told them how great they are, and then somebody comes in and holds them accountable, and it's like, oh, why are you trying to punk me? No, we're just nobody's telling you the truth, bro. Like,
hey, Jimmy Butler's a G though. So yeah, get us started with the Cleveland side of things, bro.
I really don't want this is too big of a slate for me to want really any exposure to the Cleveland side of things. I will say this: like, if you're playing 150 entries into a tournament, a deep field GPP, a large field GPP, there are a couple of plays that you can look at. David Nwaba is a guy that I'll continue to play. Here's the important thing. When I'm telling you these tournament plays, these deep tournament plays, and I'm telling you I am playing them in tournaments, I'm not telling you that I have 25% exposure to these guys. I'm telling you that when I set my exposures, I'm looking to get like 5 to 7% on some of these guys because they fill a spot. And David Nwaba is a guy that tonight I will have 5 to 7% of because of his upside, and he will be very low owned, if owned at all. So he does have 30 fantasy point upside. He's done it this season before at 3,900 in the large field. You're doing max entries. He's a good 5 to 7% exposure guy. Jordan Clarkson, this guy's hit or miss. Same story when he was with the Lakers, and he was in a good spot. He was hit or miss as well. The guy has a tendency to turn the ball over, getting a little bit of foul trouble. Hey, bro, check this out. Not to get too far off topic, but I'm watching the Laker game Wednesday night. They're playing the Cavs, right?
Right.
And Jordan Clarkson hits a couple of threes, and he's like throwing signs up and shit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, outside of this dude's little entourage, like, what would he do if somebody real walked up to him and like tried to punk him? Like, I think this dude would be a little bitch. Like, I think there's a lot of guys in the NBA that think they're hard, but they're not really like these dudes ain't really out in the streets trying to be tough. Clarkson is that dude. Like, he's like always out there, like he's trying to be tough, and I just don't see it, man. Anyway, I'm Colin Sexton. 5,700. He'll continue to be a pretty solid mid-tier play. Upside is there. He can get you 6x at 5,700. He's done it before. Outside of that, move on.
Yeah, so thing about the Philadelphia side of things is I just think it's going to be a blowout. I honestly think this game is definitely going to get out of hand.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Just talking about Jimmy Butler, right? What do you think these dudes would do on this team if Jimmy Butler came over here and started punking these fools?
I think Ben Simmons is tough, bro.
No, I'm talking about Cleveland. I'm talking about the people on Cleveland's team, like Jordan Clarkson and Tristan Thompson. The dudes who think they're tough.
Dudes, bro. Hey, bro, you're talking about internet gangsters, bro. I mean, come on. These dudes – I mean, obviously they talk shit over social media, but they're NBA players. They got bodyguards if they go anywhere. That's why they talk shit, bro. That's why they think they're hella tough and all that good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and get into Philadelphia side of things real quick. You can obviously look at Ben Simmons. He's still getting his, even though Jimmy Butler's been there. Like Ben Simmons in this spot. Definitely GPP though. Jimmy Butler, 8,600. For me, I'm not rolling with any Jimmy Butler. He just hasn't. I mean, he hasn't really been getting there. At this price tag of 8,500, we need about 8,600. Sorry, we need about 43 for value. And since he came over to the Philadelphia side of things, he's got 43 one time. So, the thing with Jimmy Butler is he doesn't have to be the man on this team. Usually every other team that he plays on, he's the man. This team, he doesn't have to be the man. They got Embiid. They got Simmons. They even got a really good shooter in J.J. Redick. So he's more of a role player on this team, and the numbers are really reflected on it. So Jimmy Butler, no thanks. A guy I really do like is J.J. Redick, though. 5,500. He's a very good price tag. The guy's playing consistently 30 minutes. He's going to get some extra minutes now with no Fultz. We see that last game he played 36 minutes. He pretty much gets unlimited shots. I honestly think On the Philadelphia side of things, JJ Redick is my favorite play. And then, you could obviously you could look at a Joel Embiid, 11.5. Do we want to pay this for him in a game that we think is going to be a blowout? But the thing about it is guy's just been a monster. And with no Saric anymore, with no more Saric, he's actually getting more rebounds now as well. He's been a rebound monster lately. So I really do like Joel Embiid. I definitely think I'd rather play him if more than Simmons or Jimmy Butler. Lastly, the guy I want to talk about really quick, Wilson Chandler, 3,800. We've been talking about him, and his price is going to go up to 5,000 very soon. It's back-to-back games of 30 minutes on the court. Scored the ball finally a little bit last game. Got a couple of rebounds as well. 23 fantasy points on a 3.8 price tag. That's 6x. If he's going to get me 23 fantasy points again tonight and play 30 minutes, I definitely think that Wilson Chandler is a premier play. Definitely got to look to him again. And then lastly, we're talking about it being a blowout. If it does turn into a blowout, Mike Muscala, he's already getting some minutes as it is. And then if it's going to turn a blowout, he's going to get, say, 25 minutes in this spot. At 4,000, you need 20 for value. This is a spot where Mike Muscala could definitely crush value as well. And that's really where I'm at on the Philadelphia Sixers side of things.
You like Muscala at 4,000 or Baines at 37?
Is Baines starting?
I don't see why you wouldn't with no Al Horford.
Yeah, if Baines is starting at 37, I would go Baines. But yeah,
right
so you ready to move on?
Yep.
Cool. And this is the game, bro. I mean, it's crazy because usually, New York Knicks aren't an exciting team, but the industry is very, very high on the Knicks today. So we definitely got to spend a little bit of time here, make sure and touch everything on this game. So real quick, the game we're talking about, it's the New Orleans Pelicans going into New York, Madison Square Garden to face the Knicks. This game has a 235 implied total, which is the highest on the slate by far. New Orleans is favored by 7.5 in this one. So I think there's going to be a lot of chalk plays in this in this game for sure on the night. So definitely get us started, bro.
You want to see people get pissed off and the slate break tonight? Let the Knicks coach not play some of these guys the minutes they've gotten in the last 4 games. Let him do what he did early in the season and switch it up again. And you will see people so pissed off because this game's chalky. It really is. So you always got to look anytime you're talking about New Orleans, you got to start with the guy Anthony Davis. 12,500. But just 7 days ago, I believe, last Friday, 74.9 fantasy points against the Knicks. You want to take a look back to the 2 games he played last year. One of those games, he had 85.4 fantasy points. That game was at Madison Square Garden, as this one is. I love this guy tonight. He's probably my favorite contrarian play because I think people are going to look to pay up in other spots, and it's kind of a balanced type night. You also have to take a look at Drew Holiday. We've talked about it all year long. This guy is a point guard, even though he's listed at shooting guard. This guy's assist numbers are through the roof. You see in his last 5 games, he's averaging 9.4 assists and 21.6 actual points in 35 minutes. Drew Holiday's in my core right now. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. And then you always have to look at the ancillary players, man. Mirotic playing at a very high level this year. 14, almost averaging a double-double, 14.8, 9.6 over his last 5 games. Julius Randle, same boat, 17.2 at 9.6. The salary's a little too high for me at 7.5. I'm not sure I want to pay that for a guy coming off the bench. I do understand that he's averaged almost a double-double over his previous 5 games, but 24.8 minutes for 7,500 and coming off the bench, a little bit of a stretch for me. This dude, Etuan Moore, the guy's getting minutes, man. 34 minutes is what he's averaged over his last 5 games at 5,500. Very solid small forward number 2 for your lineups tonight. Make sure you do have some exposure to him. And that's really it, man. That for me, that's really it on the New Orleans side. This is going to be I think this will be a fun game. We talk about it all the time. When superstars go to Madison Square Garden, they always want to show out. Just it's Madison Square Garden, the bright lights in New York. So I love this game. I love getting exposure to this game. I think as a whole, it'll be pretty chalky.
Yeah. So, man, bro, it's crazy because everybody and their mother is on Trey Burke tonight, and I'm not really feeling them. But it's crazy. What really was crazy to me about it though was the fact that bro, you were showing me your core, and I'm like, oh shit, you got Trey Burke in your core as well. So definitely think Trey Burke is going to be chalky tonight. But like you said, with the Knicks coach, sometimes they're going to get minutes, sometimes they're not going to get minutes. The past 4 games, Trey Burke has been playing very well. He's been getting a ton of minutes. He honestly, in my opinion, Trey Burke is better than Moutier. I honestly think he should be the starting point guard. He should be getting close to about 30 minutes a game. I'm gonna tell you the only thing that really scares me about Trey Burke. So we see the minutes. The minutes have been, solid. This game against OKC, he was just a coach's decision not to play. He wasn't hurt. Nothing wrong with him. The coaches decided not to play him this game, and that's the only thing that's really scaring me with Trey Burke is hopefully he gets the minutes that he's been getting the past 4 games. Definitely think he's a chalky play though, and he's been playing well. We see the upside that he has. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the year. First couple games of the season when he was starting, we were playing him over and over. The guy has upside. It's all about minutes with him. Shooting guard spot, you can obviously look at Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway, I mean, he's their best scorer on this team. He gets unlimited shots pretty much. But for me, though, the price tag is up. And, do you think that Drew Holiday is going to guard Tim Hardaway?
He put up 43.6 fantasy points a week ago.
Against him?
Yeah, in 38 minutes. And this was a spot, he was 8,000. I remember you saying there's not a chance in hell I'm playing Tim Hardaway at 8,000. His price is now at 7,400. It's a good matchup for him, man. And if he does get, I mean, I can't answer that question. I can't. I mean, the other night I thought that Ben Simmons would not get the Drew Holiday treatment because of the size mismatchup. You thought that he would. It's just hard to tell, man. Hard to tell. But I think that both these guys, and to me, here's the thing. Burke was 3,600 when he went on this run of these last 4 games, 55, 25, 40, and 31. He started at 3,600. Moutier in that same game a week ago, I believe Moutier had 31 or 32. Let's look. Moutier had 33. Moutier to me seems like the best tournament play of them all because I mean Moutier's minutes are still. I mean he's still getting some minutes here, and 20. You see he's just up and down. And the thing with Moutier is it's twofold. One, the guy's a better shooting guard and off guard than he is a point guard. We said that back when he was in Denver, they wouldn't play Jamal Murray. And he turns the ball over a ton. So if he starts turning the ball over and doesn't hit shots, then he's not going to play. But to me, he seems like he's the guy nobody's talking about. He could be the best tournament player of the bunch.
Yeah, so just real quick. So, I mean, obviously we're looking at Trey Burke. We're looking at Tim Hardaway for GPP. Small forward. I'm not messing with nothing on the small forward position for the Knicks. But here we go. You got Vonleh. I've played him in back-to-back games, and he's paid off for me very well back-to-back games, 38.5, 42 fantasy points. The coach is really showing that he wants to give Vonleh minutes. He likes Vonleh. Definitely think Vonleh is in a very good spot. Once again, I'm going to go right back to the well with Vonleh. I definitely think this guy's going to be ultra chalk on this slate. And you mentioned it earlier. I like the combination of Morris and Vonleh at the power forward spot. Definitely think it's a good spot. And then you got the guy, Cantor, 6,700. He's a fair price tag, but it's all about the minutes with him. Sometimes he gets some minutes, sometimes he doesn't. When he gets the minutes, we know we're pretty much going to get a double-double from him. But, I mean, look at this. You got 37. Oh, yeah, you like that. Then it's 26 and 22. The minutes have been trending down. I don't understand why. I don't understand what's going on with this Knicks coaching staff. To be honest with you, Cantor is their best player right now. He is their best scorer. This guy should be playing close to 30 minutes a game. I feel bad for Cantor, man. His whole career, he's never got the real opportunity to really play 30 minutes a game. And if he does, I think the guy would be an all-star. So I like Cantor a lot. I think Cantor's in a good spot. So for me on the Knicks side of things, it's Trey Burke. You look at Tim Hardaway, strictly GPP. Vonleh at power forward, going to be ultra chalk. And you look at Cantor, and I'm ready to move on.
I'm ready to move on, man.
Cool. Next game we're going to talk about is going to be Washington going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 231 implied total, and Toronto is favored by 10.5 in this one.
So this is a mess. We say it every single time we talk about Washington. It's a mess. Now there's rumors that they're going to have a fire sale. There's rumors of the Lakers involved for John Wall. There's rumors of Bradley Beal. This is a mess. I don't know what's going on, but the thing that I do like is Now, when you're talking about the team is internally saying it's been leaked out, the team's internally saying that they're gonna fire sell this thing. Okay, now you're talking about trades, and when you're talking about trades, you're talking about guys with egos who want to up their trade value or they want to get out and prove to other teams that they're not as terrible as this team is. So there might be a couple of spots to pick on here. The tough thing is they're going against Toronto and they're going against the defense of a Kawhi Leonard, and we've talked about how good their bigs are with Siakam and Ibaka. So Dwight Howard is out. This game could blow out very quickly. Jeff Green is really the only guy that I really want exposure to at 4,200. He's really been consistent. Oubre, Porter, those guys very inconsistent. Markieff Morris at 4,400. I don't know if I like him very much, but I like him enough to have exposure to him in tournaments without Dwight Howard in play. And then I think Mahamini, you got to take a look at this guy at 3,500 minimum value with no Dwight Howard today. I mean, Mahamini should see some minutes. He should see an uptick in minutes today and be in a pretty good spot. I haven't seen their starting lineup, so I'm not sure if they've confirmed that who their starters are yet. I can look that up in a second. But that's really it, man. I don't really have a lot of interest in the Washington side just because I think if they were playing Brooklyn and all this information was out about them being traded, I think guys would be, it's a team that gets up and down the floor and matches them. The Toronto Raptors are going to play defense. They got a lot of pride over there, and I just don't see this going very, very good for Washington at all.
Yeah. So real quick, just because you brought it up earlier, I actually really like Aaron Baines now. I really like Aaron Baines. I think Aaron Baines is a really good punt play. That's. I just wanted to mention that. You brought it up, and then I didn't know Al Horford was out yet. But with the news that he is out, I definitely like Aaron Baines for sure. One more quick, I just want to ask you about a guy on the Washington side of things, and then we can move on to Toronto. What do you think about this guy, Thomas Bryant, minimum price? Or would you see, this is the thing. I was actually on this guy earlier. I mean, he started last game, got almost 20 minutes. But now that Aaron Baines is pretty much going to start, I think I'm actually going to be off of this guy. He was a guy I was looking at earlier as some value. But, I mean, I'd rather pay – $100 more and get Baines now. So just forget about that guy. I definitely think you could throw him in a GPP for and just hopefully he can get you 25 crush value. But yeah, just never mind. Forget about that question. Like I said, I was looking at him.
I think there's four guys. Okay, and if you're going to play tournaments and like I said, you're going to get max exposure in a max center or contest. I think there's four guys at center you can play with and maybe do half your lineups with a combined exposure rate, and that's Aaron Baines, Thomas Bryant, Bam. I think Bam's in a good spot against Chicago. He should get some extra run. That game should blow out. We've taken centers all year long against Chicago. We can talk about that game a little bit more in depth, and then obviously you got Baines, right? So. There's really, here's the thing with Thomas Bryant. If this game does blow out and they are going to trade everybody, then this is a guy they could be looking to take, to evaluate. Do we have a center here that we think we can play if we get rid of, say, Dwight Howard, if we trade him or package him up and get him out of here? So I think there's four guys at that value spot you can punt with, and I kind of go with maybe the heaviest exposure to Baines and the lightest exposure to Bryant. But I would definitely have some exposure in tournaments.
Hey, bro, just real quick, I don't want to get off track. Bro, tell me why I got the most fire-ish cash line today, bro. Like, everybody that we're talking about, I fucking got him in a line, bro. Like, this fucking line looks hella fire right here. So,
hey, there's time. There's time right now. There's time. Go get that VIP Black Friday special.
Bro, like, I was just looking at the line right now, bro.
Like, line.
Hey, bro, check it, bro. I mean, we got – in my line, I got the Morris Vonleh, the Baines. Bro, it's a fire line. I'll show you later. But yeah, let's finish up with this Toronto real quick. So you got Kyle Lowry coming off the best game of the season for him, almost 60 fantasy points. He had a monster triple-double. But one thing I do want you guys to understand is this was a game where Kawhi rested. Kawhi does have a monster usage rate. So Lowry's not going to have the same game that he had last game. I hope you guys don't chase that. You could definitely look at Leonard. He's still under 10,000, so I definitely think he's a solid play. Probably a little bit more GPP play for me just because he hasn't regularly been putting up those monster games. I mean, he's been a little bit – he's having good games, pretty much every game, but sometimes he gets the extra stats, sometimes he doesn't. Let me just show you guys really quick kind of what I'm talking about. So, Orlando 28. If you pay 9.8 for somebody and he only gets you 28, this kills your lineup. Yes, he had a good game against Boston, solid game against Detroit, but then you got the 33, the 23, the 36. So for me, Kawhi's a GPP play, but I definitely think he's a solid play in this matchup. You obviously got to look at both big men have been playing very well, Siakam and Ibaka. I definitely think you go right back to the well. You talked about Washington. They don't have any big guys. They don't have a Howard. They got Mahinmi. That's it. Otherwise, they're playing Jeff Green. They're playing Oubre at the power forward. Like, these guys, Siakam, Ibaka, and even Valanciunas, all these guys have really good opportunities to absolutely go crazy, have really good games. So for me, I really like the big guys going against Washington. And then, like I said, you could throw in a little bit of Lowry, throw in a little bit of Leonard and GPP. And that's really where I'm at for Toronto.
Yeah, move on, man.
Cool. Next game, I think it's actually going to be a pretty good game right here. You got Charlotte Hornets, Kemba Walker going into OKC to face the Thunder. This game has a 6.5 implied. A 228.5 implied total, and OKC's favored by 6.5 in this one.
Yeah, I like this game a lot, man. I think Kemba Walker playing at a high level recently, 36.2 minutes per game over his last 5, averaging 30 minutes and almost 7 assists. I like him a lot. I like Jeremy Lamb a lot. Jeremy Lamb getting big minutes recently. Jeremy Lamb has really taken over a role that Nicholas Batum used to have. I have zero interest in Batum. I don't think Batum is playable on any slate at any time, anywhere in the near future. He's just not. The guy is a facilitator right now, and he's not getting any stats. If this was hockey, he'd have a ton of assists because he's like passing it to, let's say, Lamb, and then Lamb passes it to Walker. And then Walker knocks down a shot. So I don't like Batum, won't play him. Don't like Marvin Williams, won't play him. That's two guys that I'm really looking to play. Miles Bridges is worth mentioning as a tournament play at 4,100, but I don't want any part of that. It's also worth noting that both Kid Gilchrist and Tony Parker are out. Tony Parker had been playing over 20 minutes in each of his last 5 games, so there's a significant role to fill there. Malik Monk is probably a guy who will see a boost tonight at minimum value 3,500. Good tournament play, and that's really it.
Yeah. So, man, bro, sorry, I was messing with my lineups. We got a little bit of time before lock. Fuck, bro, I got the monster. Sorry, I'm fucking getting off track. But yeah. So on the OKC side of things, I absolutely love Russell Westbrook right here. I definitely think he's going to be going back and forth with Kemba Walker. Last game, we could say he had an off game, but he still got a triple-double, 46 fantasy points. 11,000 is dirt cheap for Russell Westbrook. I mean, honestly, we've seen him 12, 13,000 year after year. So this price tag, I still think it's a very fair price. Definitely think he's a guy you probably want to get in your cash games tonight. So I'll start right there with Westbrook. Shooting guard, I actually really like Schroeder. Schroeder, at first, when Westbrook first came back, they weren't really playing Westbrook and Schroeder together, but now they're starting to play them together again. Like they're getting a lot of minutes together. Definitely think Schroeder's going to get close to probably about 30 minutes in this game. 6,000 price tag. I really like Schroeder in this spot. I definitely think Schroeder's in play. Very fair price. Like I said, 6,000. The price tag went down because he's coming off the bench now. But I like Schroeder. Paul George, 8,800. His price is down as well. And he's been solid. I mean, he's in the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He's got you at least 41. On this 8.8 price tag, we need about 44 for value. I definitely think that Paul George is in play as well. And then you can look at the big guy, Steven Adams. This guy, honestly, in my opinion, is the most underrated center in the league. I mean, this guy is very consistent. For a big man, usually big men, they don't really get like crazy minutes. They get, low 30s. This guy's a guy that plays mid to high 30 minutes, double pretty much every single night, gets a bunch of defensive stats. I mean, this is consistency. If you're looking for consistency, this is a model of consistency right now. I definitely think Steven Adams is in play, probably a little bit more of a GPP play, but if you put him in your cash games, he's going to get you close to value. I like Steven Adams. So for me, I mean, I'm just going to stick with the main guys on the OKC side of things. You got Westbrook, you got Schroeder, Paul George, Steven Adams, and that's really where I'm at, man. I'm not going to pay 5.4 with for Jeremiah Grant right now. I definitely think that I'd rather go with the Von Lay or the Morrises or the Collins at that power forward position. And that's it, man.
I will tell you this. The last video we did, we had Oklahoma City and the Warriors, and I told you guys that Schroeder was going to have a monster game, that he did it before. I'm telling you guys again, if you look back to November 1st, Russell Westbrook had 60 fantasy points, 59.6 against Charlotte at Charlotte, and Schroeder had 33. So I like these two guys together a lot. I like them again tonight. Paul George had 46 in that last meeting, and I believe that Steven Adams had 34.1. So all these guys are in play. Like them a lot. I like this game stacked together. You can get 6 pieces, I think, of this game in, and then probably follow it up with some value for, like power forward and your center spot, and really have a solid game stack.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to mention, we got news coming out. So Marcus Morris is going to start for Al Horford. I definitely think Baines is still in play. I mean, he's really their only other big guy. So I do like Marcus Morris, and I like Baines a lot as well. So let's move on to the next game. Next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Miami Heat going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game has a 213 implied total, and Miami is favored by 3.5 in this one.
Yeah, so I have a rule with Whiteside, right? I don't play Whiteside on the road, but I'm gonna play Whiteside in tournaments tonight. It's too good of a spot. It's too good of a spot not to attack Chicago with a center. Centers have dominated these guys all year long. They're very weak against the center. I think Whiteside's got an elite matchup here. My own personal rule, I don't like playing Whiteside on the road. I think he gets into foul trouble too much. But I love him in this spot, and I think this is kind of, I'm going to make the exception to the rule here, and I will play Whiteside. I think Josh Richardson is probably one of the most premier plays on the entire slate tonight, if not one of the top 5 plays on the whole slate tonight at 7,600. Tyler Johnson is out. Goran Dragic is out. He's their best player. He's period point blank. He's their best player. We've seen him in this spot before. I want to say last year against Boston, he put up 50 fantasy points at Boston without Dragic and without Tyler Johnson in the lineup.
Hey, bro.
They do have Dwayne Wade now.
Hey, bro, really quick. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to interrupt you. Bro, so you actually got Baines and Morris both starting, bro.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Bro, I'm telling you right now. I know, usually we don't play so much cash. It's usually more just cash to cover our GPP entries. But I think tonight is a night we can load up cash, bro. And I definitely think we can have a successful night tonight, bro.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think bro, I'm gonna tell you this line right when we get off here, and you're gonna be like, "Okay, yeah, you're right about that line. I love my line tonight, bro, for cash games." So yeah, sorry.
If you guys can see my screen, I'm sharing with you. You can see that here's some tournament lineups and different builds that I'm doing. This is a tournament line that I like a lot right now. Able to get Westbrook and get a piece of that, and Paul George. I think they're both in really good spots. In this lineup that I'm looking at, you could take Lamb and throw Schroeder in if you wanted to swap that out also. So back to this Heat side, Dwayne Wade, I get the narrative. Dwayne Wade's coming back. He's going against Chicago. The guy is from the area. I do think Dwayne Wade is a good tournament play tonight too at 5,200 without Dragic, without Tyler Johnson, birth of a child. I think you got all that stuff going on narrative-wise for Dwayne Wade. So I do like him at 5,200. But I think Josh Richardson is the best play on this Heat team, and he's one of the best plays on the entire slate just because of the other guys that are out, and he will get a huge usage bump. He's a much better player with the ball in his hand than Justice Winslow is. I understand they started Justice Winslow at the point guard position when Goran Dragic has been out before, but starting a guy at a position and then actually playing that way when the ball tips off is different. Josh Richardson should dominate the ball in this game. I think Dwayne Wade also gets a lot of usage in this game as well. So that's, and then like I said, I think Bam is in play. If this game does blow out, I think Bam could get some good run. Or on the flip side of it, like I said, Whiteside has a tendency to get in foul trouble on the road. There's extra run there for Bam. And that's really where I'm at.
Yeah, so on the Chicago side of things, there's 3 guys. I'm just going to get in and out for you, okay? I'm not going to waste nobody's time. You got to look at the obvious guys, Zach LaVine. This guy I talked about the other day, he's 3rd in the league in usage, just behind Westbrook and just behind Harden. We're talking about guys that are 11,000. This dude is just behind them in usage. Usage is what's really going to get you fantasy points at the end of the day. He's only 8,500, so I think he's underpriced. He should be at least 9,000. I definitely think this is a great spot for Zach LaVine. And then you can look at Jabari Parker. He finally had somewhat of a breakout game. Played 39 minutes against the Suns, and he almost had a triple double, 49 fantasy points. If he's going to play even 35 minutes, if you're going to tell me Jabari Parker is going to play 35 minutes, then I would be sign me up for it. It's just we don't know what's going to be going on. We don't know what's going to go with the minutes in Chicago. The only guy that's really, really getting steady minutes is Zach LaVine. So it's all about minutes with Parker. But if you think he's going to play a bunch of minutes, he's definitely in play. Lastly, I'm just going to mention your boy. Don't want to leave him out. Wendell Carter. I mean, he's having the same problem. The minutes are down right now, 21, 22, 24, and he's still producing, 23 fantasy points, 25. But this is not good enough on a 6,900 price tag. So for me, Wendell Carter is a stay away. Definitely maybe in a 1 or 2 GPP lineup, just get him low owned. But the main guy on the Bulls for me is just Zach LaVine. Cool?
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm cool.
Cool. Next game we're going to go with, it is going to be San Antonio going into Indiana to face the Pacers. This game has a 208 implied total, and Indiana is favored by 2 in this one.
So we need it. The news hasn't come out yet as far as what's going on with Sabonis and Turner. I just refreshed our news feed. I don't see anything in there yet about these two guys. Oladipo's out. So for me, LaMarcus Aldridge at 8,000 with all the value on the play makes for a really good contrarian play. If Sabonis and Miles Turner are out, I think Aldridge will have a field day at 8,000. Makes for a really good contrarian play. Rudy Gay, this guy's played very solid as of late at 5,900. I think he's a okay small forward number 2 play. Don't mind him at all. But the obvious guys you can look at here if you want to get exposure to this game: DeMar DeRozan, Aldridge, and Gay, and that's really it for me. From an exposure standpoint, depending on the news here, if they're, if Sabonis and Turner don't play, I will have some exposure to LaMarcus Aldridge because I think he'd be in a really, really good spot.
Yeah. So we know Oladipo's out, right? You mentioned that?
Oladipo's out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so Oladipo's out. I think it definitely gives a boost to Collison, gives a boost to Corey Joseph. I think both of those guys are definitely a little bit more in play since we got no Oladipo. The guy who's really been getting the minutes for Oladipo has been Tyreke Evans. They need some scoring. And Tyreke Evans, we know that this guy could definitely score the ball. The only problem is his price tag is up now. 5.8 is not a give me price tag. We need about 28, 29 for value. And even though he's been starting, he had one good game against Miami, 23 and 10. And outside of that, he's been starting the past 2 games, and he's still only getting 27, 21 minutes. I think he started this Atlanta game, got 24 minutes. So he's just not getting the minutes that we want from him to be, in a starting role. If he was going to play 30 minutes, and I knew for sure Tyreke Evans was going to play 30 minutes, I would definitely pay this price tag for him. It's just the minutes aren't there for me. So he doesn't really excite me too much. And then, like you said, we don't know what's going on yet with Sabonis. If Sabonis is out, it definitely gives a boost to Thaddeus Young, and Miles Turner. If Miles Turner's out, and Sabonis plays, it'll give a boost to Sabonis. So it's just kind of like we still have to wait and see what's going on with that situation. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really looking to really play anybody on this Indiana team. I'm not trying to just be quick about it, but nobody's like really popping out to me.
If Miles Turner doesn't play, I like Sabonis a lot. He's been very solid lately. The last game he fouled, his last game against Charlotte, 23.6 fantasy points, and he fouled out. That is his problem. But prior to this game against Charlotte, he hasn't had a real problem with foul trouble. 2, 3, 4 fouls a game, not a big deal. Been able to manage it. But if Turner's out, I do like Sabonis, man. The guy's been playing very well recently. So I do like him. But see what's up with the news. Tyreke Evans, I'll agree with you. I just think 5,800 is too expensive now for Evans. There's other spots that I'd rather pay for.
I agree. Let's move on. Next game we're going to go to, it's the Phoenix Suns going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. A lot of people call me crazy, but I actually really like this game. Phoenix, they've been able to keep games close. Ever since they put Warren in the starting lineup, he's definitely given them a major boost And so I definitely think this is a solid game. I do like the Milwaukee side of things a lot. But we'll get started real quick. So to just introduce it, you got the Phoenix Suns going into Milwaukee to face the Bucks. This game has a 232.5 implied total, which is the second highest on the slate. But the only problem is Milwaukee's favored by 13.5 in this one. So definitely get us started with that, bro.
I'm going with Devin Booker, man. His price is $7,900. I think it's very fair. You take a look at we had him a lot the other night, but 34.4 fantasy points didn't really get it done for us. But he shot 9 of 20 from the field. Over his last 2 games, his shots are really up. He's averaging about 18 shots per game, shooting somewhere in the 40% range. So there's a lot of volume there to like. He shot 28 times against Philadelphia. He shot 20 times against Chicago. I like Booker at 7,900. There's a lot of opportunity there. He shouldn't see any treatment from Giannis. I mean, that's going to be TJ Warren and Giannis kind of going at each other. I do like him a lot. I think DeAndre Ayton is also kind of shaping up to be a very good contrarian play, simply because it looks like where we sit right now before lock, there's a lot of value popping up at center. And I think that paying down at center night is going to be very popular. So Ayton, we've taken centers against Milwaukee all year. This guy Ayton's been playing at a very high level all season long, really. 31.4, 17.4, 9.4, almost a double-double over his last 5 games, only 6,800 in a good spot against a team that doesn't have a real center. Trevor Ariza, this guy's a veteran, man. I'm not looking to play him tonight, but if you want to pay down for a spot and get a little exposure to him, you definitely can. And Bridges, this guy's really coming on as well, seeing a lot of minutes, 27 minutes over his last 5 games. I think he's a good GPP play at 4,300. And outside of that, I will say this. A gut feeling for me tonight is Rashawn Holmes exceeds 6X. It's a gut feeling for me against Milwaukee. He's a guy that nobody's going to look at 3,500 because Aaron Baines is 36, because this guy Thomas Bryant's also available to play without Dwight Howard, because that brings Thomas Bryant, Jan Mahamini into play. I think Rashawn Holmes coming off the bench, this is a spot where you could see Rashawn Holmes get 6-7X tonight. Just a gut feeling on that one. So I also like this game quite a bit.
You think it's going to be a blowout, or you think the Phoenix can keep it relevantly close so they play the fourth quarter?
I think it depends on Devin Booker. If Devin Booker has a game like he had against Philadelphia where he shoots 40, 45, 50% from the field and throws up 20 to 25 shots, this game stays close through the fourth quarter. If Devin Booker goes 9 of 20 or 9 of 22, somewhere in that range, then this game won't be close because Booker's going to get his shots, and if they go in, it helps everybody else out.
Right. No, I agree for sure. So I like a lot on the Milwaukee side of things. First thing first, you got to remember Drew Bledsoe asked to get traded out of Phoenix last year, got traded to Milwaukee.
Eric Bledsoe.
Huh?
Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, Eric Bledsoe. That's what I said, no?
You said Drew Bledsoe.
Oh,
it's all
okay.
Right.
I'm sure. I'm thinking I always think of Eric Bledsoe and I think of Drew Holiday. Like they're almost like the same player to me, and that's how I get to confused. So I like Eric Bledsoe in the revenge game. Fair price tag. The guy's been very consistent. For him to hit value 7.3, we need about 36. And, you can see he's definitely been getting there. And like I said, the revenge thing, I'm a real firm believer on the revenge factors. I definitely think that they could feed him a little bit more in this game. Definitely love Eric Bledsoe. Then you got shooting guard. I really like Middleton today as well. He's their pure scorer. He's a guy who, he's averaging almost 20 points a game. He gets rebounds, gets some assists. You can see against Portland, he only played 23 minutes, but he still got 38 fantasy points. He's been a very consistent player as well. Middleton is one of my favorite plays on this slate. And then if you want to save 2,000, you can go with Malcolm Brogdon. He doesn't have the upside, but he gives you the floor. He does have 6-7X upside. He just doesn't really give you the 40, 50 fantasy point upside, but he's been very consistent. The minutes have been very consistent for the most part. So I think Brogdon is in play. And then lastly, you go look at the guy himself, Antetokounmpo. The guy he's in my opinion right now, he's probably the front runner for the MVP. He only played 29 minutes against Portland, and the guy was 1 assist away from a triple-double, 70 fantasy points almost. So, it's showing you, even though this game turns into a blowout, he could still get his in a short period of time. The guy's a monster. They're playing him as the big man as well. I could definitely see them matching up Antetokounmpo against the young guy Ayton. I definitely think Antetokounmpo could guard him, and they would play him at center, get him some extra rebounds as well. So that's really where I'm at. I mean, whenever I look at Milwaukee, I always look at the same four guys: Eric Bledsoe, Middleton, Brogdon, Antetokounmpo, and I'm ready to move on.
Pushing.
Cool. Next game is going to be Orlando going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game has a 211 implied total, and Denver's favored by 8 in this one.
Last year, Vucevic had a monster game against Denver. He had a 55-point fantasy game against them. So if you want to look at Vucevic tonight and pay up its center and kind of go against what seems to be the trend right now and paying down, you're welcome to do that. I personally won't have any exposure to Vucevic tonight or Aaron Gordon. Evan Fournier is a guy that I can see getting some exposure to, but I won't for the simple fact that I think Gary Harris is a really good defender, and I think this Denver team, I've said it all year long, they're one of the top 5 teams in defensive efficiency. Their fantasy production in real life has suffered from it a little bit, but they're a really good defensive team. Teams have gone in here and died. If you want to take a long shot GPP play, more than welcome to do that with Jonathan Isaac or Terrence Ross. Those are probably the only 2 guys that I would look to get some GPP exposure to. Jonathan Isaac, his minutes are going to start ticking back up again. And Terrence Ross is an underrated knockdown 3-point shooter, and he's a paid assassin, man. The guy goes in and he can knock shots down. So if there's 2 guys that I'll get exposure to tonight from the Orlando side, it will be deep GPP plays with Jonathan Isaac and Terrence Ross, and that's really it. There's no reason to talk about Mo Bamba in this one because of all of the other value on the board. It seems like every time we have Orlando, guys throw Mo Bamba in the chat. I like Mo Bamba, but for a guy coming off the bench at 3,600, or you want Aaron Baines at 3,600 starting. So that's kind of the Mo Bamba conversation.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't really have too much interest in the Denver side. I definitely think this is going to be a blowout. We're getting a little bit behind on time. So I'm just going to quickly mention, I mean, Jamal Murray is a GPP play. Gary Harris is a GPP play. You could look at Paul Millsap, 5,900, very fair price tag for him. You can look at Jokic, but I'm not playing Jokic at all on this slate, not even in one lineup. I'm just not really feeling it. The guy just has been inconsistent. But you really just look at the Denver starters, and then you could possibly look at Monte Morris getting a little bit of extra run if it does turn into a blowout, and Trey Lyles as well. And that's really it for me.
Yeah, I'm moving on.
This is going to be the fun game right here. You got Portland going into Golden State to face the Warriors. The Warriors are on a 4-game losing streak. I just wanted to mention that. This game has a 218.5 implied total, and Golden State's favored by 1.5. One thing I quickly just want to mention is I thought this game would have a lot higher implied total than it actually does, but I think it has to do with the fact that the Warriors they can't really score the ball outside of Klay Thompson and Durant.
So we always say the NFL is a copycat league, right? We always say that. Everybody says the NFL is a copycat league. The other night, very, very, very curious situation with the rotation for Golden State. Why they kept taking Klay off the floor and leaving Durant by himself, and why they kept leaving Klay on the floor with no Durant. All Oklahoma City did was trap each of them when they're on the floor by themselves, and there was nobody to score the basketball. So I'm interested to see if Golden State makes an adjustment to that. Like you said, they lost 4 in a row. It's the first time they've done that in 4 years. Never did it in the Steve Kerr era. So, we've noted they're frustrated, etc. I like 2 Portland guys a lot. CJ McCollum has had at least 37 fantasy points in each of the last 2 games they've played. McCollum always plays really well against Golden State. Like him a lot. And the other guy I love a ton who always plays well against Golden State is Evan Turner. I'll have exposure to Evan Turner at 4,600. You take a look at the last few times he's played the Warriors, he's had at least 23 fantasy points. So, Evan Turner at 4,500 is a guy I like a ton. We'll play him as well. Outside of that, I'm not looking to load up Nurkic. We'll beat that to, the end of time, I guess. But I think Lillard's in play, obviously. You need the game to stay close for him to reach value. McCollum, I love a lot. Aminu, you could throw in there as well at your power forward spot if you want to pivot off of Vonleh or Morris. He's a good pivot. And then Evan Turner at 4,600 is a good small forward number 2.
Yeah, the only thing I do want to mention is I actually really like Nurkic in this spot. honestly, the Warriors they have like no big guys. They really have no big guys that can stop Nurkic. The guy Damian Jones. If they try to put him on Nurkic, Nurkic will just eat him alive. So I just want to mention. I know you're not really high on Nurkic. It's no problem. That's why we have two opinions on this video. But I do like.
Hey, bro. No. Let me clear that point up. I love Nurkic. I love Nurkic, especially in this spot, and I agree with everything you said. The problem is that he's a contrarian play because
You're right.
Aaron Baines, there's so much value at center that where do you have to really, it's tournament only, because now you have to talk about where you're going to use the savings of $4,200 to pay up at. I mean, so now you're talking about a tournament lineup. So
Yeah, no,
I get him. I like him for GPPs, but I just don't know if you justify the build that way playing Nurkic tonight at 7,800. He's got to get you to be worth it. He's got to get you like 50 fantasy points tonight to be worth it.
Yeah, no, I get you. I definitely understand. I just wanted, like I said, I just wanted to make that because you sounded a little bit like you weren't feeling Nurkic, but it makes sense. The value is there, so that's why it's hard to pay up for him. But just from the actual, spot he's in, he could have a 50 fantasy point game tonight for sure. So on the Warriors side of things, I mean, there's really only three guys I like. Quinn Cook, he's getting a lot of minutes, 5,500. His price tag is up a little bit. They need scoring outside of Durant, outside of Clay. This guy could shoot the ball. He's a really good shooter. He does a little bit of everything. For me, he's strictly GPP just because he's been inconsistent. He can get you a 30 fantasy point game, but he can also lay you an egg and get you 22 fantasy points. If he's not doing good, then what Steve Kerr is going to do is he's going to put Iguodala at the point guard spot. That's what they've been doing somewhat. So strictly GPP, but I definitely think you could look at Quinn Cook. And then you got the two main guys. You got Klay Thompson, 6,800. For a guy who's taking 20 to 25 shots a game right now, I think it's a very fair price tag. I like Klay in this spot. CJ McCollum, you mentioned him. He's a really good player. I think CJ McCollum is in a fine spot tonight as well, but we know CJ McCollum isn't the best defender. We know that for sure. Definitely think this is a spot that Klay can have a really good game. And like I said, I think he should be about 7,500. The fact that he's 6,800, very fairly priced. All you need is 34 for value. And then you got the guy, Kevin Durant. I don't know. Like at first, like Kevin Durant for me, like I always looked at Kevin Durant as a guy like that he could go off and he could just carry a team for one game, 2 games, and win them a game. But he just hasn't been doing that. I mean, for a guy with no Draymond, with no Curry, I thought he would have at least 1 or 2 40 actual scoring point games. And I mean, he's actually been doing worse the last 5 games with no Curry. 42 fantasy points, 29, 39, 50, 48. He's been very inconsistent, and that's the reason why he's 10-5. If he was, producing the way he should be with neither one of the other two guys, he would easily be 11,000, 11.5. But the production has just been kind of all over the place for me. So Kevin Durant is strictly a GPP play, in my opinion. But they need him to score, and he could definitely have that 40 scoring game, the 40 actual scoring game. He just hasn't had it yet. This could possibly be the spot. I mean, who does Portland have that can really guard KD? So I really like KD. I really like Klay Thompson. I definitely think both of them are going to have good games. Quinn Cook for GPP. Iguodala. This guy last year, he had a couple 40 fantasy point games. When he got minutes, he was doing very well. Right now, Iguodala just is not doing shit. I mean, he's playing 25, 26, 27 minutes, and he's getting 10, 13, 18. So I'm not feeling Iguodala. If I was going to pay down at small forward, I would just go with Wilson Chandler, who I know is going to get 30 minutes. I'm not really looking, Iguodala's at shooting guard. My apologies. He's usually at small forward. But either way, I'm not really looking at Iguodala. It's strictly Cook for GPP, Klay, Durant, move on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to this last game real quick. Last game of the night, we got the Utah Jazz going into LA to face the Lakers. This game has a 221.5 implied total, and Lakers are favored by 2.5 in this one.
Donovan Mitchell is starting to be one of my favorite plays on this slate. It's a guy that I'm going to try to get into a lot of exposure to tonight. And here's the deal: his price is down to 7,600 on FanDuel, and that's really it's probably fair, but I think it's too cheap. We just talked about Devin Booker being 7,900 and the amount of shots that he's taking. If you take a look at Mitchell and you take a look at his previous game history, he's playing 32, 33 minutes a game. He had a dud against Indiana, and he had a dud against Dallas. They got absolutely waxed by both teams, by Dallas and Indiana, and he only shot the ball 8 and 9 times in each of those 2 games. If you take a look at what he's done outside of that, just in his past 5 games, take out the Indiana game, take out the Dallas game, he gets 35 shots against Philadelphia. He gets 21 shots against Boston and 23 shots against Sacramento. I like this guy a ton in what I think should be an up-paced game for Utah. He's really the only guy that I'm looking to play on the Utah side in this one. I understand there's other guys you could look at, like a Ricky Rubio. The Lakers are notoriously not good against point guards, but let's be honest, the Lakers, from a DVP standpoint, aren't good against any position. Their defense is not good. They were in a game with Cleveland. So let's point out the obvious here. Not looking to get Joe Ingles, but he is a tournament play. Donovan Mitchell is the guy that I want to play. There's no reason to play Rudy Gobert. We could go right back to Nurkic. If you're going to play up for a center, I would pay up for Nurkic at his price point before I paid up for Gobert. Gobert at the same price point. So for me, I'm looking to play Donovan Mitchell. I think that Donovan Mitchell is such a good play tonight that I think he could be in winning lineups on FanDuel. I think he'd be in the winning lineups tonight. He's in a really good spot, playing 32, 33, 34 minutes a game, played 36 minutes against Boston. If the guy's going to get that kind of volume at 7,600, he's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree. I like Mitchell on this slate for sure. So on the Lakers side of things, I'm going to go right back to the well. Lonzo Ball. We got no Rondo. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Josh Hart, another guard, may be out tonight. Lonzo had a really good game against Cleveland. He played 36 minutes, 15, 7, 6, and a steal for 31 fantasy points. It's all about if he could score the ball. If he could get us 10 points, if he can get us just 10 scoring points, okay, he's going to do the rest with all the other stats. He'll hit value for you. It's all about scoring with Lonzo. But we see Lonzo last year. He was regularly 7,000, 7,500. I definitely think this is a buy low spot for Lonzo Ball. And I know a lot of people are like, fuck, why is he talking about Lonzo? We don't want to play him. But you know what? I'm just keeping it real. The guy does fill up the stat sheet. He does have 50 fantasy point upside at a 5,600 price tag. I just think he's mispriced. I like Lonzo, especially going against Rubio. I mean, Rubio, he's solid. We know Rubio, is a really good offensive player, drops dimes, does all that. But I don't think that Rubio is the best, one-on-one, let me guard Lonzo, keep him in front of me kind of defender. Lonzo Ball is hella fast. I just realized how fast he was last game when he was getting a rebound and just going coast to coast, dropping layups. He did it like 3 times in a row against the Cavs. So I don't think that Rubio could keep Lonzo Ball in front of him. I like Lonzo Ball. And then another thing, this is the bad part. The bad part is we're not going to get news. But if Josh Hart is out, Caldwell Pope would be almost a lock for me. 3,900. All we need for him to hit value is pretty much 19. And, I mean, come on, this dude, even with Hart playing, he's still getting 28, 24 minutes. And he's getting us, close to 20, in 3 of the past 4 games, he's got us at least 21 and a half, which would be good value. Now, with no Hart, if he's going to get 30 minutes at this price, I would love Caldwell Pope in this matchup. But the only problem, like I mentioned, is that we're not going to get the news before lock. I'm almost certain. And then, you go to LeBron James, 11.3, still very fair price tag for him. He's, best player in the league. It is what it is. He's got you at least 57 fantasy points in 3 of the past 4, giving us a solid floor. My only thing is, this is my only thing with LeBron is, okay, he had his little tour where he went back to Miami, so he had a chip on his shoulder. He went back to Cleveland, he had a chip on his shoulder in this game. So now, this game, I'm not saying the game don't mean anything. Obviously, this game means a lot. But I hope he doesn't take a step back as far as trying to be. Does that make sense, like what I'm saying?
Not going to happen. I'll tell you why. I was waiting to see if you were going to touch on this or get into it. If you don't mind, let me just chime in my 2 cents.
Right.
The thing is that LeBron complained that one of the reasons he left Cleveland was he was tired of being that guy. He didn't want to play where everybody depended on him and he had to be the distributor and the scorer and all of that. He didn't want to be that guy. They kind of covered this in the game Wednesday night. that's just what he is. Like, that's what the situation calls for. LeBron has to be that guy. He's got to be more aggressive. And since Rondo's gone out, LeBron James has seen an uptick in usage by almost 6 points. He's gone from a 24.5 usage rate to almost 32. So his usage rate has gone up, and that you can also look at his assist numbers. His assist numbers are going up as well. So, his 3-point numbers are going up. The amount of times that he's involved in shooting, and if you look early on, we kept playing him and we kept wondering, like, why in the hell is LeBron not reaching value? Okay, well, they got these other guards, they got these other guys. Why isn't he being aggressive? He was kind of trying to be a part of the offense, right? And we even talked about it before. We said, he always does this when he goes to a new team. He kind of goes through a lull. He kind of figures guys out. I think he just realized, like, and my point with LeBron James, like, if not to go too far off the rails here, but when people compare him to Michael Jordan, I always tell people he's Magic Johnson. Like, that's who he is. And Magic was not better than MJ, and neither is LeBron. But that's who LeBron is. He is the new day Magic Johnson, and he needs to accept that and play that way. The guy's a great passer. He can score when he needs to, and he's a great facilitator of the offense. I mean, that's just what he's been the last 3 or 4 games since Rondo's gone out. I don't see it slowing down now.
Also, too is we got to kind of mention too is that he was on a new team. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. That's something that I think is going on as well.
Right. We talked about that in the beginning of the year, right? Like, okay, he's not getting these points because he's done it everywhere. He did it in Miami. He did it when he went back to Cleveland, trying to get comfortable, trying to feel his way out. I think he's just realized, like, this team needs me to create. This team needs me to facilitate, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to take my shots when the situation, presents itself. I'm going to take over a game, and he's done that. And I'm sure that you're right, though. Like, some of what's gone into it is he was going back to Cleveland. He was going back to Miami. He was. But with that, Rondo also isn't playing, and Lonzo Ball is not. I'm not big on Lonzo Ball. I never have been. I think the guy's a really good, mediocre player in the league. But I'm not big on Lonzo Ball. I never have been. And LeBron, I think, is starting to realize that he has to take this over. He's got to facilitate.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then just quickly, I just want to just throw in there, you could definitely look at a Brandon Ingram or a Kuzma. Both of them are strictly GPP. They've been the people who have been hurt the most, with LeBron just been going wild the past couple of days, the past couple of games in general. Definitely think both of those guys are GPP plays, though. And that's really where I'm at on this slate, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, real quick, one more time before we get out of here. Today only. Remember, I just want you to understand. I want to reiterate this. Today only, we are having our Black Friday sale. All of our packages are 50% off. The monthly packages, you get the first month half off. Then it does go back to the regular price. On all of our NFL luxury box, NBA luxury box, even our luxury box bundle where you get NFL plus NBA, one-time charge, 50% off that. Join the money team. It's dirt cheap. This is honestly a steal.
Hey, bro, I don't want to cut you off, but something just came to my mind that we have to make sure we mention. This is how good of a deal this is for everybody, right? If you're a member right now and you want to go from the premium membership of $39 a month and you want to go up to VIP, it's only going to charge you half of the difference between those two. If you want to go all the way to luxury box, it's only going to charge you the difference between your $39.99 and that $100. So it's a steal all the way across the board. If you haven't seen our site and you haven't become a member yet, you're getting a huge discount, and you're even getting the discount if you're currently a member and you're not a luxury box member already. To me, the bundle pack is the absolute best deal we have on the site right now. I just want to make sure that we pointed out that it's not just for people who aren't members yet, that if you are a member and you want to upgrade, you're only paying the difference in price between the two memberships.
Right. Yeah, no, it prorates you. So, I mean, it's a steal. Definitely either way, it's a steal. One day only, though. Promo code BFD50, 50% off all packages on the site. Hey, get the lineups tonight. I'm feeling really good about our cash lineup tonight. Very, very good. Definitely going to let you hear that when we get off of here. But, hey, thank you guys very, very much. For checking out this video. It was fun. Time to get lineups done. And hey, man, I hope you guys hit big tonight, and I hope you guys come join the money team because I plan on hitting big tonight. Thanks a lot for helping me out with this video, Jeremy. Make sure to go check out the DFS Cheat Sheet YouTube channel as well. Jeremy's doing a ton of content over there, NFL and NBA. And that's it, man. Thanks, guys, for checking this out. Talk to you later. Peace out.